Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode where I share with you another amazing success story from one of my clients. I am super excited for this one because we're going to talk about something that I actually haven't talked about with other clients in this spotlight series. Sam and I were just talking about what we're going to teach you today, and it's going to be very different. So I can't wait to share it with you. So I have here my client, Sam Blossom, Samantha Brown, and I'm gonna let her tell all of you what she does while I share this video in my group. So go ahead, Sam, introduce yourself.
Yay. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to connect here. I'm Samantha Blossom, and I work with coaches, healers, and entrepreneurs. And basically, what I do is support you with cleaning up any past life programs, future timeline things, ancestral programs, things that may be blocking your business to getting to that next level or your money energetics from getting to that next level. So it's kind of like sneaky little things that maybe, doesn't even pop into your mind, but could be blocking your subconscious. So, oops, I'm hearing like some double. Is that like normal?
Oops. Sorry, I just brought up the video and he was repeating your voice, so it's all good.
Oh.
You finished? All good?
Great. Yes, all good. So I work on the business matrix energetics. So it's like the blueprint, the energy field, the hologram of your business and the hologram of your money matrix, and getting your personal life like really streamlined and harmonized with all the other pieces that are running and flowing in your business world.
Awesome. So good. So you're a magician in what you do. And let's take, obviously the title of this live stream is that you went from feeling the inconsistency in your business to now getting into consistent 10K months and then having like 10K days and then having 50K clients. And so we're going to tell all of you how that happened and what are some of the most important things that Sam focused on. But before we reveal all of that, tell us, Sam, like, why did you come to me in the first place? What was the thing that like really spoke to you? Because we met we were in the same program together, and then you decided to come and work together. And so just for everyone to understand, like, where were you at before we started working together?
Yeah, honestly, the moment I met Juliana, I was like, I really want to work with her. But part of me wasn't totally sure, like, what it was that I needed, because I think what she teaches and then what I like received was like kind of different. It was kind of like, I feel like she just has this like mysterious energetics about her where she just kind of like knows, and I think it's her intention field that's like really strong. So when I first came to work with her, I think I was really frustrated because like my clients would get these like exponential results and I'm like, how come I'm not seeing that totally like in my world yet? And that was like really hard, So I think it was almost like a year, honestly, or maybe even longer. I don't know. Like I kept seeing Juliana pop up in the post, and then I was like, all right, I'm just going to do it. I was like, I keep getting that like sparkle that I'm like supposed to, but then I like wasn't, following it for whatever reason. But honestly, like when I said yes, it was like the perfect time anyway. So
it was so good. Yeah. And so this leads us to the first thing that you did in order to create these epic results, which was literally our enrollment conversation. And I want to talk about that because literally it was the first thing that you said that was the most transformational and powerful that I want all of you to hear, because it's going to help you understand the power of a sales call, and it's going to help you understand the power when you have somebody who can really hold space for you, and when it's done correctly or appropriately, it can really be the most transformational experience for the person who is enrolling into a program or joining or taking the next step. And this is something that I really help my clients with, because that is where the coaching relationship begins. That's how you set the tone for everything, and it's where so much of the transformation happens, because it's like money and decisions, some of the hardest topics in life. They both come together, and then now we get to you get to hold space for somebody making a decision. So tell us about the first thing that you did was obviously made the decision to enroll, but that was an interesting decision, and tell us why. Tell the story about how hard that was for you and all the things that helped you as in the remaining part of the program just from that enrollment conversation.
Yeah, it was hard because I had felt like I had invested in so many coaches before, and I wasn't really feeling the results. And I realized what was happening was I wasn't really like seen or touched on the inside by some of those programs. And I didn't realize like I really needed that like one-on-one piece. So during the enrollment process, like I was like, my whole body was like shaking and I was like dizzy and I'm like,
Yep.
and I couldn't decide. I'm like, is that my spirit saying like, don't do this? Or
Yeah.
is that like, I'm supposed to do, like I couldn't tell. So,
Yeah.
so Juliana just kept saying like, like what's coming up for you? Like, like let's like dive deeper into it. And then I realized it was like this very old program in my system that was like shaking out of my body. And I realized even all those choices that I made with the previous coaches, because I didn't clean out this mindset that, I wasn't giving myself permission to make choices for myself, because I had parenting where like my mom made most of my choices for me, like paid
Yep.
for a lot of things for me, so it was like the guilt that was associated with like every decision that I made was actually what was
Mm.
slowing me down. So it was like, even though I invested in all those things, I wasn't able to actually like receive them.
Mm.
So during this enrollment process, it was like she helped me realize like, oh, I was making those decisions from an old mindset, like literally like my brain was operating in an old way. And
Mm-hmm.
if I want to be able to change, like I have to be able to see things from like a different perspective. It's kind of hard to like put into words, but really like my whole like I couldn't sleep, and then the next day was just like it was like this aha moment where I was like, oh, I didn't give myself permission to receive or to succeed because I kept putting down all my decisions secretly in the back end.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it was so powerful. And I just want to honor you so much for being in the inquiry of not taking all the like everything that it's kind of like you were detoxing on our call. It was like you were just shedding, and then you didn't choose to see that as oh, this is a reason why I shouldn't do it, because if it doesn't feel perfectly in alignment and delicious in my body means no, which is I think is such a misconception that people have. In fact, some of the things that are a yes for us, that like will move us to where we want to be, sometimes feel like super uncomfortable. And so having you be able to hold space for yourself and be in the like noticing and then choosing the aha like has helped you leap and now receive. It's kind of like you cashed out on all of the investments that you had made in the past, and now you actually were able to receive everything because you were held in that space, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was like, I mean, honestly, I didn't use the Voxer like a ton, but like just that enrollment process, like in that very beginning, because it was like so deep. It was like, when I told some of my mastermind friends, we were like, whoa, just that enrollment process was worth like the entire investment.
Oh my God, I love that. So good. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. So you just to make the decision to enroll and you said yes, and then that was already worth the investment you mentioned, and which actually some of my clients have said the same thing. Then what was the ripple effect of that in your coaching, right? Like how was that for you, which is like the second thing that I wanted to talk about. Like how has that made an impact in your clients?
I mean, honestly, it was so huge because when in the past, like if my clients were okay, it's one thing if they're not, it's one thing if it's like not aligned for them to work with you. But there was another thing when like they really want to work with you, but they're like scared.
Right.
It's very different. And it was like I didn't know how to hold space for them
Mm.
before, but because someone was able to hold space for me this time, then I was able to not even be mean about it. I was just like, hey, like, let's just look like the reason why, there was one really powerful one where it was like she didn't want to make this decision because her like husband didn't approve.
Mm.
And I was like, the thing is, you're the CEO of your business. Like, he doesn't own your business with you. And if you're not making this decision for yourself, like, how are you going to be able to like really flourish in your business?
Right.
And I was able to like really help her see like that decision making process, and that was what was like slowing down her engines and all these things, you know. So the next day she made like her first like $900 sale, which was really really big for her, you know. It was like going from $100 sales to like, you know,
900,
in
yeah.
one call. We didn't even have this session yet. It was just like the
Oh,
enrollment process, you know.
so good.
um so that was like really really powerful, and I can see that ripple effect in like how her business is now, you know, where she's realizing, oh, I wasn't like owning my own power. And I think that is, I definitely feel like that's like one of the biggest things that you teach like energetically is like owning your own power, you know.
Totally. 1,000,000%. People come to me for messaging and they walk away transformed in all these ways. I'm like, just come to me for your message and then we're going to do all the magic. Okay. So let's talk about a second thing. So we're going to shift gears a little bit because people are probably like, okay, but what do you actually do? So we're going to talk about something that you mentioned that was a big breakthrough that you gained from our coaching together, which is what I teach inside of the program, which is that seeing your client in the best light. So tell us a little bit about that. What you were doing before that was creating inconsistent results, and then how do you see your client now that actually has helped you create consistency in your business? So tell me more about that so that everybody can learn and have the breakthrough that you already paid me for. They can have it for free.
You know, the thing is, it's like my clients were getting really great results because I was using this mindset, but I did not use this mindset around when they were paying me, you know? So, like a year before, I tried to raise my price to like 555, but my thought was, oh my gosh, like what if people get upset? So the next day someone booked me like a single session, 555. And then they were like, we're really upset that you raised your prices, you know? So then when I worked with Juliana, I was like, oh, it was like the belief triad. I'm like, I didn't like believe that my client was powerful and capable. So like after I had raised my session of 555, I had dropped it back down to like 333. But anyway, so then I had a coaching call with Juliana. And then that morning I journaled for like at the coffee shop for like literally like an hour and a half. And I'm like, people are so excited to pay me 555 for a session. Like, you know, it's like totally worth it. Like all these things. I just like kept writing that out. And then by 5 p.m. that day, I had someone book a 555 session with me and text me and said, oh my God, I saw you raise your prices and I'm so excited. Like, this is going to be the best session.
Oh my God. So good. Yeah.
And then it was like that next week, I raised my price to 888. And then the following week, I raised it to 1888. So it was like very fast, you know?
Yeah. Fast upgrades is what I'm all about. Like, I think once you recognize the principles of like what it takes to raise your pricing where you want to be at in your mindset, it's like it doesn't take a lot of time. I think that's what most people think is like, I have to wait a long time to raise my prices. When reality is, how do you see your client being able to like enter your container financially? You want to see them as financially powerful. You want to see yourself as a powerful creator that can bring value to their lives, and that your offer is a perfect bridge for both of you. And so I love that you mentioned that, because so many of you, I want you to notice, where are you not seeing your client as a powerful as financially powerful? Where are you thinking like is like I always say to my clients, stay out of your clients' wallets. Stay out of your clients' wallets, because their wallets don't mean anything about them. Like, I never make my clients' bank accounts mean anything about them before they buy from me or after they buy from me or during. It's just know where their power comes from. And so when we are able to understand that, and then you're able to present your offer in a way that ignites that motivation, that commitment from a different energy that is not just like, well, limited to your circumstances, that's when miracles happen for all the people involved. So I love that one. Okay.
Yeah. And also, I think the other piece to that was like my limited mindset was, oh, but my current clients can't pay me that amount or whatever, you know. But then as I shifted and like broke free, I'm like, oh, there's so many people out there that would love to work with me. And I also had clients that they couldn't pay me, like, you know, this was like a long-term client. Like, she couldn't pay me like 222. I'd always given her like a discount. And she paid me 1111 for like a session. Like, that was so huge. Like, it was like, because I changed my mindset, she showed up differently, you know.
Totally.
And I think a lot of people don't think that that's possible. Or I know I definitely didn't think that was possible. But it was like, they were just mirroring back to me like my
Your
own
own
thought
beliefs.
vibrations.
Oh, you just nailed it. I love that you just said that. That's so good. Okay, I could talk about this all day. I want to ask a million questions, but let's just move on to the other thing that you did. So you were saying, you said something really cool that like problem solution is magnetism. So tell us about that, which is one of the things that in terms of like your message that you were kind of just being inspirational beforehand. So for all of you who write inspirational posts, this is for you. If you get messages saying, you're so inspirational, I love you, but like they're not actually enrolling in your program, then Sam's gonna blow your mind with one of the things that she learned while we work together. So problem solution is magnetism. Tell us about that.
Actually, it was kind of funny because I think Juliana said something like, she's like, just because it pops in your head doesn't mean it should be a post, you know?
Boom.
And I think it was like, you know, and I still do those sometimes from time to time, just like for fun and stuff. But when I'm like really doing like my marketing messages, I'm really like thinking about my client, like what do they really need? What is like, and also like I bet a lot of you are also very intuitive. Like I'm very intuitive, so I can look at someone and be like, honestly, the thing that they actually need is like this, and this. So even if you don't like go and ask them, it's like you have kind of like a knowing, like what does this specific type of person like actually like need, you know? And then like, I mean, you have permission to write whatever posts you want. So it's like when you really give yourself that permission to write to the leaders, to write to it's not, you're not writing to the people in your circle anymore. You're writing to the people that you like actually want to reach, which is in the like, it's kind of in the void. You don't even know, you know, you
What
may
they
not
are.
have connected with them
Yes.
before. So it's like your content gets to stretch, you know? And so I think going through Juliana's, just like her online stuff is like so brilliant. Like her program, you know, she breaks it down like so well. And you really get to explore like, oh, like if I want to attract that client, I have to have the solution for that client. And as long as you're like vibing at the frequency of solution, because that person wants to come back to wholeness, they're going to find you and it's going to be like a perfect match. And the sale isn't even going to be hard because they already sold themselves by the time they see you.
You totally get it. Like, I just love that my clients go through my program and now they're indoctrinated in the mentality of this. But like, oh, this is just how it works. I have a solution. People come to me, magnetize, premium clients. Amazing. This is so good. Like, you literally just articulated it so beautifully, so clearly. So I love it. And so tell us how that led to 50K clients. So you had two 50K clients sign up for 6 months.
Those were in-person people that
in-person people.
Yeah. So that was like, you know, so that was more like I was working with like human design. I was thinking about like how to light up my system. But I think it's also because I already had my program like really like created and structured through Juliana's process, you know, and I was like, this program is for, even though like I may have not have known someone that was in this range yet, but I was like, this program is for this person. And so it's like I already created it. So then by the time I like meet this person, it's like, boom, it just like
ready.
You know, it's perfect for them. So
love it. Yeah, one of the things that I told everyone yesterday on a post that I wrote, that it was that like we can't, or I said this to my clients, we can't limit ourselves by the clients we see, which I see everybody doing. It's like, check the likes, message the people who comment or whatever. I don't even know. Like, or I only see these many people engaging, or I only see these many people in my field of Facebook. So therefore, that's all that's available. And that's not how it works with premium clients. Like, premium clients are all out there. We're just not, just because you don't have this layer of your site to like see them doesn't mean they don't exist. And so what I do with my clients is I help them see where the clients are, which is not like in this like in the moon. They're around you, and like learn how to speak to them, how to talk to them, whether it's in person, whether it's online, right? And then it's just the magnetism happens because you actually have you talk their language, right? Like, you know how to communicate with them, you're vibing at the frequency, but they just come from like thin air. sometimes it feels like it just comes like, oh, I don't know. So most of my clients, I don't even know them from, most of my clients I don't know. And then they just land. And the people that I thought were going to sign up with me, and they're like, I'm like, surely enough, she will at one point. They never do. So it's like premium clients really are everywhere. We don't necessarily see them, and that's okay. Right?
Yeah, I really think that because premium clients have a specific mindset, and I think that their mindset is like they see themselves as very like elevated, and so they don't necessarily want to like a post that's talking about a problem. They're reading it, but they're like, well, I'm not going to like it in case people think I have that problem. And so it's like, it doesn't mean they're not taking in that data. They're going to reach out because they're self-motivated, so they'll just like reach out to you. But I feel like a lot of times, like I've had hiring clients sign up, and it's like they've never liked any of my posts, but they've been watching it for years, and I just had no idea. So so I think it's just they have a different mentality. So not like me. I'm like no, you're not. I'm just kidding.
I think you did like some of my posts before we worked together. I had the vibe that maybe at some point you would want to work with me. But it was one of those that I'm like, I don't know. She might just be like always in the field being like, I want to work with you, but like don't actually follow through, honestly. And then you're like, yep, let's do it. I'm like, okay, great, right? So it was
like every 6 months I'm like, hey, Juliana, you're still coaching, right? No.
Yeah. I remember. I'm like, I'm still here. Prices are going up, but I'm still here. Okay. And so the last thing that I wanted to share, just to kind of wrap it up. So you talked about precision in who you speak to and creating that consistency. So you were more in the like feminine energy with your marketing and with your business. And like you really said that you wanted to, where work was just grounding your masculine energy a little more. So tell us a little bit about that and how that created consistency.
Yeah, I think one piece was just like believing in my product, and being like, hey, I'm going to like keep tending to it. Even if you're like not seeing clients sign up right away, you're just like, well, this is the best thing ever. And I'm just going to like keep committing to it because I feel like, good. It's like you take an idea from the ethers and it takes a while to get into 3D. And then it takes a while for people to actually like know about that thing that you created. But it's like, it's easy to just be like, well, now I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to do something else because, so you kind of have to just be like, keep fine tuning it, keep making it better, keep loving on it, keep sharing about it. And sometimes it's like people need to like look at something for like a year before they're like, all right, I'm ready, and it's like not making them feel bad for like not saying yes sooner, I think for sure, which is silly, but yeah. So the other part about the niche piece, it was like, for instance, like someone that already has like a 6-7 figure business, like they have very different problems than someone that's just starting out their coaching business. And I was, I think I was writing to the people that were liking my posts, so it was like, which I wasn't even conscious that I was doing it though, is the issue. So it was like, so I'm like, why am I attracting this type of person? And then I'm like, oh, because I'm writing to that person, not that you don't love that person, but it's like you really, you're putting it out because you want to like master your career. You want to get better. You want to keep improving, and it's like, so those posts are more specific to the person that you actually want to connect with and communicate with. And the thing is, it's like, whatever that is, it's like that vibe is going to attract that other person. Like I realized one of the things when you think about like, oh, who's your avatar or whatever, it's like I would imagine myself in this specific kitchen, and that client actually became my client because I was like sending out the frequency for that one person, and right. I think like your post, each time you post, it's like you're sending out that vibe, and the person that vibes with it is going to feel it. But if you're not even sending out the right wavelength, you're just going to be attracting what you don't want. So
Totally. Totally,
Yeah.
totally. It's being in the like it really is intentionally and consciously aligning with the premium client, with the type of client that you really want to attract, and making all your decisions around the energy of that client, like or the client that you want to match with. And I can get super woo-woo around this. Like I call my clients energetically, and this is something that I like share with all my clients, like how to do that so that you're not just focused on like the doing of it, but you're energetically like your field is really open and ready for the clients to land, the right clients to land. It's kind of like setting up the room when you have a guest. The guest is probably not going, like something will happen energetically and they will miss their flight or not arrive if you're like not ready to receive them in your home,
Totally.
right? And so it's like the same cleanup, the same practice, and then it's sending, like your message is what creates that invitation for them to come. So totally.
Yeah, and I think like the universe is going to protect you and them. So it's like if you're not energetically prepared, it's like the universe can't bring them to you. But if you realize like everything that you do is prepping you for that like next space, then, you know, at one point it's just like, boop, perfect.
Totally. So good. Okay, so I have a question for you. For anyone who's curious about working with me one-on-one, they're like, I don't know if I should. I don't know, Sam. Like, what would you tell them about our experience? Like, what it feels like to work with me in my private container? Because you obviously were a private client. And then what would you say to them about whatever they're thinking? Because you were in their shoes, right?
Yeah, you know, I think that I would say, you know, just like get ready to upgrade. You know, it's like if you're ready to upgrade, like say yes because you're gonna upgrade, you know. But there is this like, whoa, this like, oh my God, like shock feeling. And it's like you want to be brave and know it's just like you're working out, you know, it's like when you work out, you're like, whoa, you're feeling like more energy and just being like, okay, feeling that more energy like feels good. Like it's okay. I'm safe and everything's gonna be okay. And I feel like it's like Juliana like sees like inside, you know, it's like she sees like, I don't know, you know, it's like she's like seeing into like the depths of your, even if she's not even having like a conscious conversation with you, like energetically, like you just feel like you're like on a high for like 6 months as like she's just like holding you, you know, and being like, you got this, you know. And sometimes I was like, sorry, Juliana, I didn't get my homework done. But she's like, yeah, that's fine. Let's keep going, you know, and you don't feel bad about it or anything. You're just like, you know, but at the end of the day, it's like, you're going to be better on the other side. And I've honestly worked with so many coaches, like so many, and I think she, you know, she really holds the energy and it's just like, she's badass. So
oh, thank you. What would you say that's different? Because you know people probably have coached with other coaches, but what would you say that you got from this experience that you didn't get elsewhere, or that like what was it that was different about it? But that's better, like the best question to for you to answer if you feel called to, because I think that so many people might be like, yeah, but I don't know. Like I've also worked with so many coaches. What if she's just like, you know, if it's the same? So what was different?
Yeah, I think that she's definitely not going to be like people pleasing, you know, because I think that like you might have like coaches that you are only going to be like feeling good with or whatever, but she's really going to break it down and be like, are you like, well, what's your decision process behind that, you know? And it's like, if you're doing that, like, what's the intention behind doing that? And I think because she helps you examine your mind in a way where you're like breaking down every piece of your business, of yourself, like you just start to see things in a new way. And I think that the way that Juliana teaches is like she's teaching like truth in a way. And I think that other coaches may be like, hey, here's my system and follow my system, which isn't necessarily going to work. But if it's like, but she's using like these like grounded foundational principles of like truth around like energetics and communication. So I feel like it's just going to work, you know?
Oh my God, so good. No, that's I'm like this is like a new thing for, like, this is a beautiful reflection. I'm like, oh, that's how you explain it. That's how it occurs to you. I love it. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here. I just love you so much. And I'm so proud of just seeing your growth and just happy for you and all of the leaps that you've made. It's just, you truly, like, one conversation, every conversation is just like you became a different person. I'm like, okay. It's so beautiful. You really took on the coaching, and it's just one of the most important things with my clients is like, you have to be coachable. If you're watching this and you're like, I want to work with you, cool. And you got to be coachable so that you get the best results, because it is truly a co-creative experience. And so if you're curious about working with me, there's one spot left for the year. So I invite you to apply. Next year, my one-on-one coaching is going to be very, very, very limited. And it's going to be far less spots. And so I definitely, if you're curious, apply. I'm going to drop the link for you to fill the application form, and then we can hop on a call and see if it's the right fit. And just know that I never make an offer to somebody that I don't feel like I can help. This is why I have so many amazing client testimonials, because I only take on clients that I deeply believe in my bones that I can help. And so it just doesn't work. Otherwise, it's not going to work for me either. So I'm going to drop the link for you to apply. And Sam, anything else that you want to share before you go, and also let people know where they can find you?
Yeah, I mean, I did want to just like add that piece that you just said. It's like, she won't even take you on if she thinks she can't help you, and I think that that is like very high in integrity. And the way that she has you think about your coaching packages, it's like, don't even say yes unless like you're creating something that's going to take them through like a full process, and it's like, and I'm like, that's so simple, but it's like, of course. And I think that all those just like her whole system is just awesome. And I'm so excited for this new person that's going to be working with you this year. It's like, just say yes.
Oh, yeah, I love it. All right, my love. And where can people find you?
They can find me at Samantha Love Blossom on Instagram, or SamanthaBlossom.com, and Soulit.co.
Soulit.co. Thank you so much for being here. I love you so deeply. And
love you. Thank you, sister.
Everyone, for joining. I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye. Bye.